Hey, it's Anthony with Land Title. I wanted to bring you the update for the month of September. It's our big update, so lots going on, and as you know, we have really been in a transitioning market. And here in September, we're finally starting to see that fall seasonality come into the marketplace. So this is kind of the big overview slide right here where we see inventory kind of peaking out here, but we're starting to see the under contract slip. And those under contract numbers traditionally do that in the fall market. So we're going to see that September, October, November, December. That's pretty normal. You can see it's kind of a curve here every other year. So we're starting to enter that market maybe a little bit earlier than we would have otherwise with the rising interest rate environment. Now there's a few big changes in the detached and the attached market. The detached is happening more extreme. It's faster. It's really giving you an extreme swing of the market faster than the other way. And a lot of that is largely due to inventory. So when you go over to attached, you can see that we really haven't seen it curve off as much. It seems like it's lagging by almost a month, but also the inventory constraint in the attached market is still playing a little bit of a factor here. So you can see average sales price over the last year in the attached market is up 35%, 34% year over year, where detached is maybe like 9. So with those two changes in the market, it's really largely due to interest rates too, where that's kind of affecting what people qualify for and what they're buying for. These are where some changes are coming in. So let's look at overall inventory of the market and by sub-market here. So if I get out of the way, you can see this, where Superior has 56 units on the market. Year over year, it's about 50% increase. Superior has the most inventory of any market out there as far as month supply. So 56 doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a small market. You get into Boulder. Boulder's at 300 active units right now. Year over year, it's almost flat. So that being said, these markets are really dramatically different. Now, you have places like Erie, 127 units on the market, but they are benefiting largely from the inventory increases where there's more sales taking place in that market. So all of these markets are transitioning. They're all transitioning at different rates and different paces. So it's worth unpacking each one of those. I have other videos on all those different markets. If you want to see those every month, it's something I think it's really important to be sharing with your clients, just what's happening in their submarket. Now, if they're buying, this Boulder County stuff is way better because it gives them a larger view, right? They shop by price range. They don't necessarily shop by like, I know I want to be in this area, but it may not just be Erie, right? It may be Erie and Lafayette and into Broomfield and over into Longmont. So it's really hard to say like what each one of those buyers is looking for. And you can't necessarily tell unless you're like, I'm living in downtown Louisville, right? So then you could use Louisville data. All right, so let's look at month supply. The biggest parts of this conversation are month supply and days on market, because this is a telling story of how competitive is the market, right? So right now you have Boulder County as a whole at 2.14 months of inventory. This is still a pretty strong seller's market in the grand scheme of things. It may not feel that way, but it absolutely is a really good time to sell a home all the way till about Thanksgiving. So that being said, that's when all the showing traffic is, that's when buyers are still active, then people start to pull stuff off the market and you see the seasonal downturn in inventory all the way through about January. So then we ramp back up again in the springtime. So the biggest market, like I said, is Superior. It has 3 months of inventory. It's still in a seller's market at 3 months of inventory. It sure doesn't feel that way right now, but just from a historical perspective, buyers and sellers are still not even on even footing. Right? And then if you look at some other markets, like let's call it Lafayette or Louisville, we're 1.6 months of inventory. We're talking like 6-7 weeks. There's not a lot of inventory out there. People are still really competitive, and it really depends on the price range you're shopping in, which we'll talk about in a minute as well. Now, what is that doing to the rest of the market? How are buyers reacting because of this inventory increase? Well, it's taking homes a little bit longer to go under contract, but we went from 10 days in May all the way up to 27 and a half days now. But if you think about it, 27 days to go under contract on a home really isn't bad. I mean, we're talking less than a month still from active to under contract. If you're doing a really good job for them, they will go under contract faster than that. The slowest market being Superior at 39 days, or you can look at somewhere like Niwot, which is at 16 and it's moving really, really fast. So obviously every submarket makes a big difference. But when we talk about this as a whole, from a buyer's perspective, they still need to be out there, they need to be active, but maybe they have some stuff to shop for right now, right? They can look around a little bit, they're able to kind of pick the home that best suits them. This is a really good time for buyers for that reason, but it's nowhere near where we were in the past. Look at 2019, we're at 40 days on market, we're not even close to that. So when you talk to your sellers, take advantage of this market still, because 2023, is probably going to be a lot more like 2019. 2018 was like 2022, where it's a rising inventory market. We saw some of these factors come in. And then 2019, if you guys all remember, was a lot like what we're going to see next year, where inventory had risen, things had slowed down, interest rates were still rising, or maybe they were starting to settle out. And then we started to see them drop towards the last half of the year. I think that you can expect next year to resemble 2019 quite a bit. All right, so let's talk about price points and what's happening by price range. Now, obviously, interest rates are having a large effect on this, and the biggest part of that is it's slowing down the more affordable properties, because those monthly payments are rising so quickly that it's really difficult for anything under $1 million, because your payment went from $3,000 to $5,000 a month on some loans, or from $1,200 a month to $1,800 a month. And that's really hard to swallow depending on your price point. Now you get into the luxury markets. The luxury markets year to date have been booming. You can see from above $1 million, outside of the $2 to $2.5 million range, even $3+ million though. We have a lot more sales. And we're having a lot more sales because we have a lot of money coming into Boulder. We have a lot more cash buyers in the luxury market, and they're jumbo loans, right? And jumbo loans actually look better than our conventional financing right now. So the rates are different, and it's still really desirable to live here, right? That doesn't ever change. That's the beauty of being in Boulder County. Now, if we look at the month supply of inventory and days on market by price range, this gives you a really good indication of how that market shift has taken place over the last few months. We're seeing a lot of inventory pile up, but even though it seems like the days on market are, let's just call them reasonable right now, at 20 some days on market, it's across all price ranges. So even if we have almost 8 months of inventory at $3+ million, they're going under contract in 21 days. So that just goes to show you the buyers out there are very, very motivated to purchase homes, but they truly just need to find the right property. So if you market it well, if you look at it well, it's making a big difference. The other part of this is the bottom part of the market, say the bottom, anything under about $1 million, and that part of the market still does not have a ton of inventory. What it has is it has a quick moving market at the 21 days, 26 days, and we have less than 2 months of inventory, so it's still really competitive. Now you take that into some of the submarkets, and it's ultra competitive still, but other parts of the market like Superior may have a lot more inventory sitting because of those payments. Now, that being said, dive into those submarkets all the time. It's making a big difference. There's also a lot of opportunity right now to trade up if you can, or draw on those HELOCs and buy a second home and keep an investment property. Those kind of things are really starting to show a lot of promise. Now, let's get into the total number of sales. So total number of sales are down by about 20% right now. That being said, not all markets are created equal, right? We know that based off of every city in the county, changing at different paces. I said Boulder has about the same amount of inventory, but look at the amount of sales, right? The total number of sales have gone down dramatically. We're 31% off of last year for this month. That just means that people are not listing and people are not buying all at the same time in the city of Boulder. You look at places like Erie. Erie has been booming in sales this year. You look at our year-to-date numbers for Erie, we're talking about an extra 60 sales, right? Like there's a lot going on there. And that's been a really good sign for markets like Erie that needed inventory for so long. And then you get into other markets that are really dropping, right? So that being said, Louisville, because of the fires, has been booming. So we have all these year-over-year changes, and we kind of got to digest those by submarket in Boulder County, because it is drastically different from all the different markets. The other part here is, what are we talking about with average sales price? Average sales price seems like it's started to drop a little bit or stay stagnant. Let's talk about detached and attached separately, because the detached market feels like we've been chasing prices down from about April or May. And that being said, it sort of looks that way in the data, but keep in mind, we're still 13% above where we were over the last 12 months, or year over year, we're up 15%. So it really depends on your perspective. If you're looking month to month to month, and you're chasing, you have listings active on the market, and it feels like prices are falling, prices have fallen slightly every single month, but not that much, right? They really are up a lot from where they were last year. So when you look at the perspective on it, you just got to help your sellers understand what that perspective looks like. Now we look at the attached market, and it's doing exactly the opposite. It's still booming. We don't have nearly enough inventory, and we have so much buyer demand that year over year we're up 34% over the last 12 months cumulative. So like basically an appreciation number for the whole county would be like 19%. It's a huge number. And in certain markets, it's even more extreme than that. In the city of Boulder, you're seeing the trailing 12-month number at 28%. So lots of markets are changing at different rates, but what's happening is the attached market is booming in prices, the detached market is trying to stabilize, and so we have a lot to read into here in the data. Now let's switch over to our percentage sold price to list price. Let's talk about detached first. Detached and attached are following sort of the same trajectory. We're getting into a normalized fall market, right? You're seeing it here where we're at 98.7% listed sale price. Obviously there's a table here if you want to work with your buyers and sellers by their price range, but things are slowing down, but they're not extreme, right? It may feel like it's extreme because of the swing from April to current, but we went from 109% listed sale price, which was completely unsustainable, to where we are today, which is actually really stereotypical of a traditional fall market. So we should see it sort of stick around this level, that 98, 99% range through the end of the year, and then we'll be back off to the races in the springtime, probably regardless of interest rates. Now, if you look at the attached market, you're seeing that it's still really hyper competitive. A lot of that due to the interest rate rise that's causing more people to go from the detached market to the attached market because of price point. I'm Anthony at Land Title. If you have any questions or you want another recap or another submarket, let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. See you next time.